As I was thinking about today's readings and what to preach about, I thought that I could preach about the importance of hospitality. That seems natural given today's reading. Could show that Abraham showed great hospitality to the three divine men who came to him. Could describe about how this laid the foundation of the importance of hospitality within the Jewish culture, and how Martha was simply doing the virtue of hospitality. And her small fault is that she lost sight of what was the better part, and that was focus on the person that you were entertaining. I was also thinking that I could preach about how all three people, that is Abraham, Martha, and Mary, were acting in response to God's appearance to them. The Lord appeared to Abraham, and Jesus appeared to Martha and Mary. Both Abraham and Martha chose actions of service, and Mary chose the action of contemplation. Mary was at the foot of Jesus in the position of a disciple, wanting to drink in every single word of his. So it is when you and I are present before the Lord in our own personal prayer. I could have easily preached about these two things, and that would have been a good homily. But something kept coming to me as I reflected on these readings, and it was as if I needed to really preach about that thing. You see, as I read the words of the gospel, the words of Martha resonated in my mind. Lord, do you not care? Lord, do you not care? At first glance, this might seem like her simply complaining. Maybe it is a bit of a sister squabble. You know how sisters are. I don't, but I've heard. Mary really should have been helping her out, getting everything ready. That's what a good Jewish woman would have done in showing hospitality. We can see in this that Martha is really one of those special women that likes to have things in control. I'm sure some of you here are like Martha in that way. Martha wanted things to be perfect for Jesus, and that's a good thing. After all, Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and he came to her house. And Mary was supposed to help her. And all she did was sit there and be attentive to Jesus. I'm sure Martha went to Mary first and said, "You got to help me," and Mary didn't respond. And in actuality, she did respond, however, by giving Jesus her full attention. What hospitality is there when the guest is left alone? And so Martha came to Jesus to complain. Lord, do you not care? We can see it simply as that this is a complaint, but I think we need to go much deeper. What Martha is really saying is, Lord, do you not care that I am so burdened right now? I am burdened with all this work. I'm burdened with getting all these things ready for you. I'm burdened, and it's like you don't even take notice. Do you not care? I think some of us can relate, right? I mean, how many times have we felt the burden of deadlines or the stress of work, and in our exasperation, we take a moment of silence and cry out, Lord, do you not care that I have all this that I have to do? My dad's in the hospital, my kids have to go to soccer practice, my wife is sick at home, and my boss just told me that I have to finish this deadline today. This report needs to be completed. Lord, do you not care? I'm overwhelmed. And we have all heard that euphemism, that phrase, when it rains, it pours. And sometimes in our lives we are tired and exhausted, and there is just one more thing that hits us. I have kind of a funny story from a friend, and it's a true story. My friends had settled down after a long, hard day. They were tired and exhausted. They were just resting. And all of a sudden, they heard a commotion outside their house. Their dog slammed against the glass door, wanting to come in. And so they opened the glass door and immediately was met with the rush of the dog. And the dog came in and started rolling around and jumping around and rolling around and rubbing up against everything she could. And immediately they found out why. The strong stench of skunk permeated the air. The dog had just been sprayed straight directly in her face by a skunk. Within minutes, they got her outside, but the damage was already done. Skunk smell was everywhere. And the smell was so bad that their son, shortly after, lost his dinner in the middle of the floor. And when the father came in after putting the dog outside, he slipped on the floor and was flat on the ground. As humorous as that story is, I'm sure in that moment, the dad was like, "Lord, do you not care?" By the way, they had to completely remodel their house. We all have these bad moments and we think everything should go according to our plans. We want good for ourselves and for our families. We plan, we prepare, and we ask God to bless our endeavors. We stay close to God, and yet sometimes we are overwhelmed by these burdens, worries, and unexpected bad things. In those moments, a temptation may arise to question God's goodness or to question God's desire to work in our lives. And then there's more, let's say, existential things that happen. Over the last month in the news cycle, there have been several instances in which someone might cry out to God. We can think of the immigrant family who comes home to find their mom is missing. Someone tells them that there was a raid at her workplace and that people were taken. They have no idea if she was taken or not or where to. Now the dad has to figure out how to care for the children and try to figure out where their mom is. Or even worse, we can think of the tragedy along the Guadalupe River, and we can think of all the loss of lives. Anyone who has lost someone because of tragedy understands the thought, "Lord, do you not care?" These types of tragedies could even bring someone to question whether God exists, such as the suffering and the pain that these things bring. The old question, how can God exist if there is evil in this world? Ultimately, the angst of Martha is the same angst that all of us have when things don't go according to our plans, when we experience stress, burden, sorrow, or even loss. Her cry is really not about, "Lord, do you not care about these burdens?" But really it's about, "Lord, do you not care about me? Do you not really care about me?" In all this suffering, do you notice me, Lord? Are you really here with me? Do you really love me? Do you really wish for my good, Lord? Do you not care for me? In that moment when we were brought to our knees, we turned to Jesus on the cross. And this is God's answer to the burdens, the sufferings, and the loss. He says to me, "Come to me, all you who find life burdensome, and take my yoke upon you. For my yoke is easy, my burden light." Jesus' cross and resurrection is that yoke. Jesus enters into the suffering with his passion. He knows what it is to feel overwhelmed. He knows what it is to feel anguish, to feel loss. God did not spare his own son, his own self. He did not spare from the same things that you and I experience in life. And why does God allow these things to happen? I don't know sometimes. But what I do know is that he allowed these things to happen to his very self. And he did this out of love for you and me so that we would know that we're not alone and that he can bring good even out of our own sufferings as he brought good out of his suffering. His answer to that question or that statement, Lord, do you not care for me? It's nothing other than what he shows us on the cross.